Hello everyone, my name is Qzar and I've been a player of the Screeps programming game since the announcement and early access in 2014. This video is to document the first week of Screeps Season 8, which started on March 1st, 2026. I am not trying to become a content creator or anything, but I just wanted to make sure the season gets captured and documented, since the in-game chronicle page has been really lacking for the last couple of seasons. Every season has a different mechanic to score points and determine the player rankings. This season there is a pyramid-shaped world map in which everyone spawns at the bottom and needs to get as many rooms as possible as high up in the pyramid as they can. The map is divided in 5 tiers, and for every room you own the controller of, you'll get points every tick based on the tier that room is in. So if you would look at the world map, you can see here at the bottom, there's the respawn area. Everyone starts here, and you only get 1 point per tick per room that you have in this tier 1. Then there's the tier 2 zone, in which you'll get 4 points per tick. The tier 3 area, in which you'll get 9 points per tick. Tier 4, where you will get 16 points per tick. And finally tier 5, where you get 25 points per tick. But here there's only like 4 sectors in total, so it's going to be really crowded and you'll need to fight for every place you can get. Traditionally, you would spawn in the starting zone, which is marked in blue here. And then you would upgrade your controller, so your global controller level increases, which allows you to take a second room. So you would spawn here, for instance, upgrade to get 1 million energy in your controller, and then take your second room, perhaps somewhere here. However, for this season, since your room in the starting area gives you almost no points, ideally you would move north already while you're on global controller level 1. So that is the season-specific code that players had to write for this season. You want to rush to room level 3, since you require at least 600 energy to spawn a creep with a claim part. And then you spawn the claim creep, but also enough creeps to make sure that you finish building the spawn in your next room. And then while the creeps are walking towards your new room, you unclaim your original room, claim the new one, and then build the spawn before your creeps die due to age. In order to get to the highest zones, you would basically need to rush to room level 3 somewhere between 5 to 8 times. You could really see which player focused on speedrunning and economy in general, and I was really impressed by this. The last season that I played is about 5 years ago, but since then the early game economy seems to have improved a lot. Unfortunately, we cannot access the history anymore from the actual start, so the footage you see here is one of the rooms from a player named Flag, which was the first to get his room to room level 3. He was also the first player to make the jump and reach the tier 2 territory. He built up his room, spawned the claimer and all the necessary work creeps for building it up, and claimed his new room in less than 3.5k ticks. So Flag was positioned on the east side of the map, and he was the first to jump. Here you can see with the arrow where he jumped towards. And then just a few hundred ticks later, Harabi also jumped. His starting room was just below where this screenshot starts, and he jumped towards this room here. And then just after 4k ticks, Kalgen also jumped. So Kalgen started here, which was kind of the optimal starting position, since this highway leads all the way up towards the tier 5 territory. And he could also jump directly a full sector north. So after the first jump, he was already further north than all the other players after their first jumps. So shortly after those top 3 players, we also had DroidFreak jumping. in the screenshot, his room is here where I have my cursor now. And he started on the west side. I think he jumped around 4.5, 4.6k ticks. So he wasn't that far behind the top 3. Unfortunately, on his, I think his third jump, he didn't manage to finish his spawn. So here's the screenshot. You can see his spawn is at 13.9 out of 15k. And unfortunately, this forced him to respawn. So he had to start all the way at the bottom again. And he actually made the decision at that time to rush to global controller level 2 first, before he went up north again. So after the top 4, there was quite a big margin. I jumped at 6.4k ticks, so almost 3k ticks later than that Flag did his first jump. And then after me, there was quite a big margin again. And then SCS jumped down here. We have Eiskalt. He jumped Silton, in more like the center of the map. JLK, which you can see here in the southwest. And I think even more west of him is GT500. And those are the top 10 players in the early game for scoring, since they jumped first. So we jump forward in time a little bit. Flag ended up settling here in tier 4 territory. He is not as confident in his military code as he is in his economic code. So probably a smart choice to settle in tier 4 and push his GCL as fast as he can to get a lot of tier 4 rooms. Kalgen actually went to tier 5 territory, and he settled here for his first room. It took about 24k ticks before he reached this position. And then after that, Flag was the first person to reach GCL2. That took 36.5k ticks. And then Harabi settled here as the second person into tier 5 territory. I'm not sure how many ticks it took him, but there was quite a big margin to Kalgen. So this is the map after 9 days of playing. If we look at tier 5 territory, we see a lot of rooms from Harabi. He seems like a player that has good economy, and that combined with like the best military code of all the players which are playing right now. He's kind of like the new Tiga. Then we have Kalgen, which has the best economic code by far. I think he's more than a full level ahead of everyone else at this time. But yeah, I think he made a pact with Harabi, which forced him to expand into tier 4 territory rather than taking more tier 5. So he has 3 rooms in tier 5. Then we have Droid, which of course had a little setback with his jump that failed. But right now he also has 3 rooms in tier 5 and then a couple more in tier 4. So he seems to be well established here as well. So then there's SCS. So he was a bit slow with his jumping, but he actually did not stop before reaching tier 5. So he has 3 rooms in tier 5 now, and the 4th room in tier 4. Then there's me. I did have 3 rooms in tier 5, but I got attacked by Harabi. So I had to unclaim this room in order to save mode this one. And I managed to get it to RCL 7 during save mode. So I'll keep on trying to survive here. This room was building up, but it got attacked by SCS while I was also under attack by Harabi. So I could not save mode here. My main room is all the way down in tier 3, because I wanted to have an economic base before going to tier 5. So yeah, I'll find out in the next couple of days whether I'm able to to keep my position in tier 5, or if I need to drop back to tier 3 and then move up to tier 4 again. Then there's Maddock Mike. I think he was quite slow with moving north at first. I guess he did GCL 2 jumping rather than GCL 1 jumping. But now he seems to have one room in tier 5 and then also a couple in tier 4. So yeah, he's definitely aiming for a spot in top 10 at least. And then we see Eiskalt. He's trying to get a room up here, but I think he's getting denied by Droid. But yeah, Eiskalt has quite some rooms in tier 4. And we see some more players there, like GT500. He has like 4 rooms in tier 4. And then we also see here Mirror, which is a player that already played when I last played. We see Silton. And then of course there are all the rooms from Flag. If we look at the scoreboard, we can see that Kalgen is currently in first place. He is slightly ahead of Harabi, but Kalgen already has 7 rooms, of which a couple are in tier 4, and Harabi only has 5 rooms, of which all of them are in tier 5. Then we see DroidFreak in 3rd place, Flag in 4th place. So this is due to him having a lead in GCL compared to the persons below him. So he only has tier 4 rooms, but he just simply has more rooms than the rest. We see SCS, which is quite low in GCL, but then in score he's doing great because he has 3 rooms in tier 5. There's me, then there's Eiskalt, GT500, Maddock Mike and Mirror. And if we look at the second page, we can see that the difference in score becomes quite big, right? So those are players which are aiming for tier 4 rooms, trying to get as many as possible, and then hopefully they can reach top 10. If we look at the GCL numbers, you can see how insanely good the economy of Kalgen is. He has 75 million control points, while the number 10 only has 15. So 5 times as much. And also almost double that of like Harabi, for instance. It's insane. And what is also interesting, what you can see in this expansion rank, is that there are 2 players, Kyber Prizak and Volochuga, that they are doing quite well in terms of economy, but you don't really see them in the season scoreboard. So they probably did not implement any code for having jumping rooms, and they're slowly building up from the bottom of the map, from the starting area, towards further north. And I'm really curious to see whether during the season we will see them coming into the top 10 leaderboards in terms of score. In terms of fighting, not too much has happened yet. One of my rooms in the tier 5 territory got killed by Harabi. He's attacking me from an RCL 7 while I'm still on RCL 6 here. And then he's first trying it with dismantle squads, which are not successful because my melee defenders can keep him away from my ramparts. So I think he's sending 3 squads at the same time. But then his code automatically detects that dismantling squads are not effective. And then he also sends ranged squads later on with tier 3 heal boost and tier 3 range boost. And that was just too much for my RCL 6 to handle. In terms of defending, I think it's good, but I could have pushed a little bit more on the repairing and made him commit a bit more resources. But yeah, if someone from an RCL 7 with tier 3 boost is going to attack you on an RCL 6, there's not really much you can do unless you would have an RCL 7 or RCL 8 in the neighborhood to support it. If If I fast forward a bit, you'll see his ranged squad come in. And then in the end, he's just going to break my rampart because his attacking power exceeds my my power to repair here, and he can just chill at the range and then slowly kill the rampart. When that happens, this room gets safe moded automatically. But since he was also attacking my other room in tier 5, I decided to unclaim this one manually so that the other room would get safe moded, since I could reach RCL 7 within the safe mode there. We've also had a small skirmish between DroidFreak and Eiskalt. So Eiskalt took already 3 or 4 rooms in tier 4. And then he tried to get into tier 5, but he's getting denied here by Droid. There's not a lot of space in tier 5, and the players which are there are trying to control that space and keep it for themselves. But yeah, I'm curious if we'll see DroidFreak versus Eiskalt battle later on during the season. That would be interesting. And then there's another small battle from SCS on my RCL4 room. So this battle was going on for quite some time at this point, because he first sent unboosted squads, which I was out repairing. But then he started sending tier 2 boosted ranged. And yeah, that was just too much. So he outdamaged my repairing capability here. And since my other room was in safe mode, because this happened just after I got attacked by Harabi, I couldn't save mode here. So yeah, this room was lost. I'm trying to rebuild it, but it will probably not succeed if SCS commits to keeping it down at least. In the meanwhile, Kalgen got a couple of RCL 8 rooms already, and he's now also working on getting his boosts. So I'm really curious to see if he will start attacking soon and what will happen. I hope to see Kalgen versus Harabi versus DroidFreak battle in the coming weeks. I initially hoped I could also be fighting, but yeah, I've had quite some setbacks with losing the room and being under pressure a lot. So I don't expect to be attacking anytime soon. I'll just be trying to survive for now. But yeah, let's hope that we'll see more battles in the coming weeks and see all the big players starting to fight each other. I'm not sure if I'll do a video every week. It depends a little bit on how much is happening, but I'll at least do a couple of follow-up videos throughout the season. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.